Rebecca, and I'm a mental health counselor. This is a follow-up video on my trauma series, follow-up to my first one, that where I defined trauma with the words of Judith Herman as a normal reaction to an abnormal situation. Many of us have had traumatic experiences. Some of your traumatic experiences may be categorized as single event, maybe just something happened once, like burning yourself when you're baking, or falling over from your bike, or a motor vehicle accident. That's a single event trauma. And some people have repeated traumas, cumulative traumas, which are also considered as complex traumas. And these are traumas that maybe you're in an abusive relationship and you're verbally tormented or called names on a continuous basis, or other extreme forms of repetitive types of abuses. They fall in that category. Some people, their trauma is intergenerational because some trauma happened to their group, and that trauma was ongoing and has carried on to the next generation. And so they experience what their forefathers experienced in terms of intergenerational trauma. Some people have experienced racial trauma based on what society perceives as race distinctions. And so that's traumatic for those individuals. So trauma can be defined and expounded on in so many other ways. And that's why I like Judy Herman's definition that it is a normal reaction to an abnormal situation. A normal reaction. You see a threat, you run from the threat. You see a threat, you freeze or you play dead. You see a threat, you try and appease the threat. And that's what some people can consider or call people pleasing. Or you can see a threat and you fight the threat physically if you're strong enough. That right there is the definition of the trauma responses that have been researched to show that these are the things that we do when we are in danger. We either fight, we flee, we freeze, or fawn, people please. These reactions are normal. However, when they become chronic, when they become part of what we do on a daily basis, then something is afoot. Let me explain. Buildings have an emergency response system that alerts of dangerous situations. They alert of intruders through an alarm system. They alert of fire through a sprinkler system. They alert of carbon monoxide poisoning through the alarm system as well. When those systems are faulty, they will be on when there is no actual threat. The alarm will be going on and on and on, but there's no fire because something is not right with the alarm. Now, I'm using that example loosely because I'm not saying that when you have traumatic responses that you're faulty. No, just an example to show that there's a possibility that our emergency response system through our nervous system and our hormones may be triggered by things in our environment that our senses pick up. We smell something, we see something, we hear something, we taste something, or we touch something, and it triggers us to feel like we're in danger. Maybe someone's clothing, someone with a red hat, and the red hat is a trigger. Maybe it's the season. Something happened in winter some years back, and then all the time, all winters are gloomy because subconsciously it's a reminder. The season is a reminder of a trauma. So those underlying triggers sometimes are hard to know or sometimes it's hard to pinpoint what's triggering this response that I have right now. Why am I afraid? Why do I want to flee? Why do I want to disappear? Why do I want to hide? And so those are complicated factors that a trauma therapist can help you navigate through and bring about a form of resolution and understanding and soothing of your nervous system in that sense. That was a lot in trying to define how do we recognize that our system is triggered. And as in summary again, it might be through our senses. Hearing something, loud bang can remind you of a loud bang 20 years ago. Smell, a certain smell, maybe of a cleaning agent, may remind you of the endless nights in the hospital where you smelt cleaning agent while all you wanted to do is be at home and not in the hospital. So our senses are one of the indicators that we have some unresolved trauma. There's definitely many ways of working through this identification of trauma. I would encourage that if you have any of those triggers through your senses, that you reach out to a trauma therapist, an EMDR therapist, someone who specializes in dealing with trauma, and they'll be able to assist you further. I will continue with this series in the third video. Until then, goodbye and see you next time. Bye-bye.